into this version of the house and worship the Lord. I'm thankful that God's the same whether we're outside on the parking lot, we're in the sanctuary, we're in our homes, or we're in our fellowship hall. And this morning I'm thankful for this fellowship hall that we have with the rain. I want to say it's wonderful to have one of our drummers back with us, Anthony. We're thankful for him. We asked him last night, and we said, I know we can't have all of our voices in this small building, but we would love it if you would drum with us this morning. We're thankful that we've got Matt here with us on the guitar. We're thankful. We're thankful that the Lord has given us so much to be thankful for. I'm thankful for our seniors this morning. I'm thankful for what they stand for. So this morning, if we'll just worship because He's worthy, Father. God, we thank you this morning. Lord, you're so worthy. God, we thank you, God. You're so worthy, God, even when we're so undeserving.
Amen. I'm thankful for that. Amen. Worship the Lord. Brother Robbie's going to come and minister to us this morning. Looking forward to the Word of God this morning. Amen. Give Brother Robbie and Jesus a hand clap as Brother Robbie comes.
Well, praise the Lord, everyone. Hallelujah. This is just a little bit different, but we can handle this, right? Hallelujah. You know, it's a great opportunity that Brother Scott asked me to minister to the graduates. And God has led me in the path that on my own life and reflections. You know, and I am very honored. You'll have to excuse my wife. She she's on her way back, but we got all the way here under all the circumstances of the storm blowing our tomatoes over. But we out there staking them up this morning and stuff. She got here as we pulled in the driveway. She gonna get me for telling this.
Remember, it's being recorded.
Oh, yeah. Man. So none of y'all had to go tell her that I said that. Okay. She said, I'm gonna take the topping out of my purse and put it on the cake. And she went, oh. And I said, like I was gonna buy it. And I said, what? I forgot the cake. So needless to say, she let me out and back and to get the cake. So BJ, when you see her pull up, go help her get the cake out, okay? Praise the Lord. You know, a graduation is a time of reflections on the labor of the past and the accomplishments of the present and the possibility of the future. Let that sink in. Hallelujah. You know, I was praying to the good Lord, and He said that the accomplishments that you've done, you know, I'm 3 times the age as these graduates. And the things that I've done over the years, I wished I hadn't done.
Yeah.
There's some things that I'm proud of and I was glad to do it. But there's certain things in my life that I wish I have not gone down that path.
Yeah.
And it's the same way with our pastors and the same way with these elders that are here. And we try to teach these graduates or these young people not to go there, not to do that, because we have already been there and we know the results. And we're trying to save you from getting hurt.
Yes.
Right, elders?
Amen.
Hallelujah. It's the prayers of your parents on you kids is what has brought you this far in this life. You might feel like that you accomplished it yourself, like I did when I was growing up. When I was 18 and 19 years old, you know, I wanted to get out of the house. Y'all think this is the norm here? And it's different. Everybody, you know, going in the stores, you're wearing a mask, you know, and they look at you one way, and then, you know, I wear these black masks, you know, and they look at you, and then they look away, and then they'll look back at you real quick, like, what is this dude's up to, you know? But now it is a norm that what you're doing, and this is going to reflect back on these graduates of the different life that they had than you and I when we graduated.
Amen. Yes.
They'll be able to tell their grandkids, oh man, when I graduated, I pulled up in a car. I didn't have to walk across no stage and everybody holler at me and clap their hands and stuff like that. I pulled up in a car and they come out and let me out. I've seen this on TV, so I know what. I haven't seen it. Yeah, I've watched it several times, you know. But it's different. And a lot of us elders can't comprehend the change that we're going through.
Amen.
I wished it was over with.
Amen. Amen.
But come to realization, it's going to be here a while. So you might as well get ready for it. You know, times and chances will happen to us all, so even though we're all saints, God is still in control.
Amen.
It doesn't matter what comes on, God's still in control. Hallelujah. I want to read in Proverbs, 3rd chapter. I'll start with the first verse. It says, "O son, my son, forget not my law, but let thy heart keep thy commandments. For length of the days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck, write them upon the tablets of thy heart. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man. Trust in the Lord with all thy heart, and lean not unto thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths." You may be seated. I appreciate y'all standing for the Word of God. You know, back when I was 18 and 19 years old, I just couldn't wait to get out of the house. Y'all think that y'all have it rough in the things that you had to do around the house, you young people now. But when we was growing up, we had to wake up before the dawn.
Amen.
Mike had to feed the cows, and we had to make sure that all the livestock was in the barn. Chase the pig around. We had a certain pig, that ornery dude would get out there, seemed like every night. And there's been times that Mike and I and the other ones there would go to school halfway muddy because we had chased the pig. Because we didn't have time to leave the house and walk on to Arch Street to catch the bus. Now, if the bus don't come right up to your driveway and you don't get out there on time, you think that it's terrible. But that was a reflection on our lives. Hallelujah. But God has been so good and brought us so far. Hallelujah. You know, I was thinking about the prodigal son when I was, 19 years old, and I had to get out. My dad was a very strict man. And on my 18th birthday, Mike took me out with my friend. Dad got mad at me and throwed all of my stuff over in the dump. Y'all think the dump is out there? Well, we had a little ravine that everything was thrown in there, was dumped, and it burned. On my 18th birthday. Nowadays, kids think you're 18, you're a grown man. So when I was 19 years old, I decided I was going to hurry up and get married and get out. Get on my own, because my dad didn't know what he was doing. But now that I have got older, I realize he's not as dumb as I thought he was. The things that he was trying to teach me, he wasn't that dumb. But it's taken 63 years for me to realize that. Hallelujah. So we're trying to teach you young people, don't do the things that we have done. Don't go down that path. Stay in the will of God and he will direct your path. Just like the prodigal son, he thought he knew everything and he wanted his money, his share. Dad, let me have my share. I'm going to get out. Well, when he got down to the point, I'm not going to go through the whole story. When he got down to the point that he was down so low that he was eating husk from the pigs. Come on now.
Amen. Yes.
When you get out of God's will, young people,
Amen.
and you get to the point that you know that you should have stayed in the path of God,
Yes, amen.
then you know, as a young person, you know, he says to teach up a child in the way it should go and he will never depart. But if you do depart, and you get to that point and you realize, I should not be here. I know the path back home.
Come on. Amen.
Man, when you realize that path to go back home,
Yes.
then that light at the end of the tunnel is not the train,
Yes.
it's the Lord showing you the directions back home. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. But in certain ones, they get into the path that they want to do something. It doesn't matter to them what the consequences is. They know right from wrong. But they get to that point, it does not matter. You're not going to change their mind.
Amen.
You try to direct to them, but they will go the opposite way. In 2 Samuel, and I'm going to try to turn there because I will mess some of these names up for sure. Hallelujah. 2 Samuel, the 18th verse. Certain ones, they want to do things on their own. Hallelujah. There was a big rivalry going on here in 2 Samuel's, and they had a big war going on. The enemy was coming against the king. And they went out in a war, in array. But one of the king's sons that he had adopted, it wasn't his own real son, but it was a son that he had taken on his own. Like some of you have taken some of these and tried to care for them. This king said his son was going to go out in the war. Well, when it was over with, this one young man named, in the 19th verse, it says, Ahimashus, the son of Zabbath. He said, he went to the general and he said, let me run and tell the story. And he says, what are you going to tell? I don't know, but I want to run. I want to do this. He said, but you don't have nothing to tell the king. I don't know, but I want to run. It doesn't matter what I've got. I want to do this. And a lot of times I have done the same thing in my life. It didn't matter if I prayed to the good Lord and the Lord tried to change my mind. I thought maybe this was right and I wanted to do it. It didn't matter if the lake freezed over. Well, Joab, he told Cusha to run and tell the king. Cusha, you go tell the king what you have seen. In the meantime, Cusha had been in the war and he had seen that his king's stepson that he had taken for adoption was hanging from the tree.
That's right.
That'd be a hard thing to go tell the king. Okay, Cusha, run and tell your tidings to the king. When Cusha started out running, Ahimshai come to the general and says, I want to run. I want to go tell my tidings to the king. Well, what are you going to tell him? I don't know, but I'm going to run. Well, if you just keep bothering me, go on and run. You that some adult tell you that you should not be going down that path. Your dad or your mom say, now son, I really don't want you to go down that path, but if you just got to, you better pray to the good Lord that it is His will.
Amen. Yes, amen.
You're a full-grown adult, you do as you please, but I would ask you to pray that the good Lord to lead you.
Yes, amen.
But Ahimshai said, I want to run. Well, Joab says, just go ahead and run then. So Ahimshai took off running, and he run through the plains around Cusha. But when he got to the king says, what tidings have you got? Oh, everything is good. What else you got to tell me? I don't know. He wasted his time going down that path. Just like me, I've done that. When I was 19, I got out into the world. I've done as I pleased. I come to the realization that I wished I hadn't.
Praise the Lord. Yes.
I met a woman that brought me back to church.
Yes, amen.
Thank God for my wife.
Amen.
Thank God for my mother and my dad's prayers. And the direction that my dad tried to teach on to me. None of y'all have been there. I could see that on y'all's faces. Nobody has been there except me. But there's certain times my dad had told me, son, I don't think that you ought to be doing that. But my dad was more harsher than me.
Yes.
I felt like the world was coming to an end when Dad spoke to me, especially with a 2-inch belt in his hand. None of y'all have been there. But he's trying to direct you back on the path.
Yes, amen.
Now, if you raise your hand to a child, they're going to call DHS on you.
Amen.
And we've got into that point that they do as they please, and that's what's making this world worse than it is.
Amen. Yes, it is. Amen. So true.
But Ahimshai, he says, I want to run. So he ran, and he passed up Cusha. And he got to the king. He said, all is well. Well, there's another runner coming. Will you stand over here, Ahimshai? You stand over here out of the way. So when Cusha got up there, he told the king, all is well now. But what happened to my son? My stepson, the one that I've taken to take on my name to direct the kingship and stuff. He said, He is done just like your enemies that have come against you. He didn't just come right out and tell him that he was hanging in a tree. I seen him hanging in a tree. He didn't say that. He said he was done the same way that your enemies that have come against you. The king automatically knew then that he was dead. And just like a father would do, he went to his room to cry. And they heard him as he was leaving. Oh, Absalom, my son. My son, oh my son. I wished I was in the position that you were, where you would still be alive. In that same way, young people, that you're graduating, your father and your mother is going to pray for you. And when you get to that point that you realize that you've done the wrong thing and you want to call dad or you want to call mom and ask them, what should I do? Which my kids still call mom. Even though they're married and out of the house, they still call mom. That's fine. Every now and then they'll call dad. When it gets to the point that mama says, call dad. It's time for you to call dad. But what is it, your son? What is it? Oh, but mom, I don't want to call dad. Really and truly, that is a great thing. And I thank God for my son and my daughter. I really do. And my grandkids are the precious little devils that they you know, someone told me, said, oh, them little angels. I said, yeah, don't you know that 1/3 of them angels was devils that went down from heaven? I love them to death. God. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. We were shopping a little bit yesterday. We couldn't get away from the baby clothes and stuff. That's a mama fact, though. Daddy just has to pay, Brother Randy. Hallelujah. But there's certain times in life that we get to the point we realize we have gone down the wrong path.
Amen. Yes.
And we wait upon God then. We haven't gone to the point, God help me through this, is we wait to the last moment and we say, oh God, I wished I had not have went down this. Can you help me back on the direct path? And you young people to realize and understand. Everyone here has got a cell phone. Even the little kids has got a cell phone. It does not hurt you at all to call mama or call daddy or call someone that will listen.
Amen.
I'll be honest with you, I talked to my head CEO this week and I was ministering to him a little bit, and I said, you know, in my life, in this last part, there was a point that I wished I had not had to go down that path, but it was a path for me. I said my best friend passed away. And I went through a crucial point there that I did not have no one to confide into. You have to have someone that you can talk to just a little bit. You don't want to put your burdens on everybody, but you put your burdens on your best friend.
That's right. Sure.
And he will help you and direct you just a little bit.
Yes.
It takes a burden off your chest just a little bit. But I went to that point that my best friend passed away, and I said, I didn't have nobody. My dad was old and feeble. And I had to pray to the good Lord. I need a friend. I need someone that I can confide in. You don't want to go burden to your wife or your kids or something like that. But you need to talk to the good Lord.
Yes, amen.
And the Lord will help you. Hallelujah. It's been a great honor that I've got to be able to speak my heart to everyone. But there's certain things in life I wished I had not done. And I know by the shake of the heads, everyone out here has done that to the point. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. But it's up to you now. Now it's up to you, young people, to choose the path that you're going down.
Yes, amen.
I can help try to direct you, but I cannot guarantee you. Neither can my pastor, neither can my assistant pastor, can direct you and tell you and guarantee you the path that you're fixing to go down is not going to hurt your feelings sometimes.
That's right.
It's not. I'm 63 years old, going on 64, and I still get my feelings hurt. I do. I hope and pray that you have blessed years from now on, young men that's graduated. But do not ever forget. You got this speed dial now. You don't even have to remember the number anymore. I was fascinated. My wife directed my phone into her car, and now all I got to do is say, Anthony. And it calls it. You know, I wish we had one on there that says Jesus. When you get to that point, say, oh, Jesus, I'm going down the wrong path, and it would call him. Woo, glory. Wow, boy, that would be a blessing. Hallelujah. But now, I want to call him and say, what you up to, son? What you up to, daughter? Has the kids got in your hair yet? Oh, yeah, every day. Look at Brother Antonio. He done lost his hair. Sorry, Antonio. Sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't go there, son. I'm sorry. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I got one more verse I want to read to you, and then I'll let you go. I'm trying not to be long like Brother Randy. Praise the Lord.
What is a good word?
Hallelujah. That wasn't on there, was it? Blackmail me. Hallelujah. Jeremiah 17:7. Blessed is the man that trusteth in the Lord, and whose hope, for he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and that spreadeth out her roots by the river, and shall not see when heat cometh. But her leaves shall be green, and shall not be cared for in the years of drought, neither shall cease from your yielding fruits. Remember that. If you get rooted in the good Lord,
Amen.
and you start yielding fruit, especially like grandkids,
Jesus.
then you could say, Lord, I thank you for the path that you have chosen for me, and that I did follow your path. God bless you today.
Good word of God. Amen. That's good for all of us. Amen. Not just the graduates. Want my musicians to come back. Amen. We're going to take up our tithes and offering before we go on. Amen. Amen. As they come back, and yeah, Scotty, if you will. Sister Nicole has the plate. Here you go, son. Amen. So worship the Lord as they come and sing for you. And Scotty passes around off. Worship God. Every praise to our God. Amen. Now I'll tell you, we're going to, in just a few minutes, we're going to take a minute, and I've been talking to different ones about it. And normally I try to be real cautious that as a pastor, you don't want to look like you're favoring your family. You try to make sure, that you're fair on everything. And so we were at first kind of approaching today a little, we don't want to look like we're overdoing anything. And I got to thinking about it. And these two young men were both, I guess you could say, born in the church. Both of them were dedicated in the church. They've both worked hard and done things behind the scenes and helped in a lot of ways, too many ways to name. And I was talking to somebody about it the other day, and they made the statement. They said, well, really, I doubt anybody in the church would even be offended about it because everybody in the church feels like they're part of their families. Amen. And we're a close group, and I'm thankful for that. I am. Amen. So in a few minutes, we're going to take a few minutes if anybody wants to say something to the graduates. But in kicking that off, we've got the first young man that went that route, born and dedicated in the church, went through, then we had a church school, graduated from the church school, and always done things behind the scenes. Amen. And I guess I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. What do you think, brother? Seems like a good time, doesn't it? Amen. And not only that, as Brother Anthony comes, I want to let everybody know that this is half, because when you're married, it's both of you. Amen. So Brother Anthony and Sister Reba are our new youth ministers. Amen. And we're thankful for that. Amen. He's come to me and said, God put it on his heart. And I said, well, you know, that's something else, because God had put you on my heart and said it was time for you. So I was just waiting on God to speak to you. Amen. So we're thankful for that. So with that, I'm going to call our youth pastor to the pulpit, or to the little podium, and get Brother Anthony to address the graduates.
Praise the Lord, saints.
Praise the Lord.
Well, I'll tell you, it's glad to be back in the house of God, you know, and actually getting to participate. When Nicole texted me this morning, she said, you know, you can play the drums if you want to, you know, it is what it is. I said, I appreciate it. I'm ready to get back to it. And so, today it's pretty much thinking. I was talking with Pastor Scott, so we'll see how this goes. I said, but for the boys today, it's coming from First Anthony, and we'll see where it goes. So in my notes, well, boys, you've made it. Y'all have officially graduated. It's an honor to talk to y'all, you know, because the both of y'all have made it to a big portion of your life. You know, it's awesome to graduate. You know, as Pastor Scott was saying, that I went to the school, and you know, I walked somewhat down this path. I was telling Lee last night. I told him, I said, you know, I said, there's one thing that I've done that you haven't done. He said, what's that? I said, well, I was the only one in my class. Yes, you were. I said, I was everything. I got up, I spoke, I was it. I said, I was it. And so, you know, that's one thing you didn't get to do, but whatever. It is what it is. And, you know, both of y'all are a big part of my life. You know, I pick on both of you. It's how I show my love. It's me. You know, and so I guess I have to say, look out 2020, because both these two have graduated. We can start job hunting. You know, I mean, it's part of life. You know, and I was messing with Scott, or Pastor Scott, and I told him, I said, you know, I went and got to watch Lee graduate. And I said, whenever I got him in the truck, I said, I know you wanted me to preach Sunday and talk to them, give them their, you know, welcome to the world. I said, Lee got it first. Yeah, I told him, I said, Bob, you're in my truck. I said, we're locking the doors, you can't get out, we're locking windows, you gotta listen. You know? But there's going to be days that you don't know what to do. There's going to be days that, hey, what do I do? And the only thing I can tell you from my experience is, one, you have to pray. I mean, because there's nobody that can give you better guidance than God. And the second thing I can tell you is call mom or dad. Because I couldn't tell you how many times I've called mom and be like, hey, how do I cook this? Or call dad, hey, how do I fix that? You know, and it's what a son will do to his parents. You know, you're going to call and find out. There's a lot of times that I try to figure it out on my own, and I end up messing up worse because I'm sitting there steadily messing with it instead of calling and figuring it out. You know, and don't sell yourself short. You know, if you have goals in life, go for them.
That's right. You
know, it's like the saying is, shoot for the moon and the worst happens, you land among stars. You know, that's like I don't know if a lot of y'all know, but I don't know if y'all know who Steve Jobs is, but he's the guy who created Apple. He created it in his garage in his house. So it doesn't say that, you know, that you have to have the most best of everything. You can just be in a garage tinkering, and you can become a millionaire or billionaire, however much money this guy's got. But that's what I'm saying. Don't sell yourself short. You know, I see a lot of potential in the both of you. A lot. And so, like I said, don't sell yourself short. But there's things that you'll miss in life, like recess. You'll miss that. You're still going to get lunch, because that's something that happens every day. But you'll miss recess, okay? So, just remember, just because you don't have recess, after you get off work, you can still do recess, okay? It's just on your own terms, okay? And so, I was going to tell Dad before I got up here, I was going to say ditto, because he pretty much went right down my path, so we're going a different route. And there's one more thing I want to say before I'm done. There's a movie that I watched way back, I think it was 2003, with my mom and dad, and there was a lot of it that really stuck out to me. It was a movie called Secondhand Lines. Some of y'all might have watched it, some of y'all might not have. But there was a part in the movie where this little boy got pawned off on his two uncles. And so the two uncles pretty much raised the boy. And anyway, that gives you a little bit of the background, but there was a guy named Hub in the movie. And he told the boy, he said, whenever you get old enough, I'm going to give you a speech. And it's going to be what a man needs to know about, or what a boy needs to know about becoming a man. And that was what he called it. And I looked and I looked and I looked, and I couldn't find it. Finally, I found a portion of it. I couldn't find the whole thing, but I didn't think that they actually said it in the movie, but they did. They did. But I didn't catch it. But I want to share this little part because it's such a meaning. And so it says, sometimes the things that may or may not be true are the things that a man needs to believe in the most. That people are basically good, that honor, courage, and virtue mean everything. That power and money and power mean nothing. That good always triumphs evil. Remember that.
Yes. Amen.
And that love, true love, never dies. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. You see, a man should believe in those things because those are the things worth believing in. And so, I want to say to y'all, always remember, good triumphs over evil. It doesn't matter. Lee got a little taste of it this morning because we was sitting in the drive-thru at Shipley's Donuts, and I have a thing about people coming up and asking for money. It's just me. This lady come up and she knocked on the window, and Rick was like, "Hey, there's somebody at your window." I know you're knocking. So I rolled the window down. This lady starts giving me this story of how she's locked out of her house and this and that. I told her, I said, "Ma'am, I'll see what I can do," and I just left it at that. And so we get around the corner, and I talked over with the wife, and we're sitting there, we're praying about it. And we're like, what should we do? What should we do? Should we really help this lady, or should we just say, "Hey, I'm sorry, I can't go"? And so anyway, she come back up there, and Lee was sitting in the car. He's like, "Well, man, what would you do in this situation?" I said, "Man, in a way I want to help, but in another way I don't." I said, it's I don't know. And so finally the lady come back up. She said, "Hey, I want to know, are you going to help or not?" And I told her, I said, "Man, I'm going to give you what I got." I said, "I haven't made it to the window yet, but I said, I'll give you what I got." And the look on her face when we gave her what we got, what we had. And she said, "I've been praying for somebody to help." She said, "There's people that have been throwing money at me and this and that and just not really wanting to help." She said, "But there's something about you two." And I said, well, ma'am, I said, we prayed about this before we go. And I told her, I said, before you leave, I said, I hope this blesses you. And she said, well, it's more than what I got now. I said, ma'am, I said, I know it's not a lot, I said, but this is what I can do to help. And so all of a sudden, she drove off and left. And the whole way to here, I was sitting there praying. I'm like, God, did I do the right thing? And so then that story popped up. Good always triumphs over evil. And so I had to remember that, because down deep I was starting to get angry at myself. Like, you should have gave her more, or you shouldn't have gave her nothing, or I was battling with myself. And when we pulled in the parking lot, Reba said, she said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'll be all right." She said, "Well, what's bothering you?" Because, a wife can tell when something's bothering you. And so I started telling her what was bothering me. She said, which Lee already got out of the truck. He already come in. And she said, "Well, I'll tell you what, let's pray for her." And so we sat there in the truck and we prayed for her. And so I hope she finds her way through today. But, it's like I was trying to say, is sometimes it takes a person helping somebody that needs help. But sometimes you got to let people figure things out on their own. But from me to y'all, both of y'all have my number. If y'all ever have any problems, or in a bind somewhere, can't get a hold of nobody, you need to come get picked up, call me. I'll come pick you up. I don't care what time it is. It could be 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I might be grumpy when I answer the phone, but I'll come pick you up.
Don't call me at the beginning.
I'll answer. And, I really do hope y'all the best. I really want y'all to prosper. Don't sell yourself short. That's a lot of my biggest problem, is I sell myself short. You can ask Reba, I do it all the time. She still wants me to go back and get another degree. I struggle with that on my own. And so, with y'all starting out, and like I was telling Lee Friday night, if y'all are planning on going to college, which I figure y'all are going to, figure out what you want to do and go as high as you can with that degree. But you gotta have it figured out from the start. Yes, you can change later. But if there's a goal in life that you want to do, like you want to become a pastor, if you want to become a technical engineer, or whatever, go to school and go for it. I know y'all are like, man, I just got out of school. A high school degree will only get you so far. But if you could go for a college degree and actually just succeed and go, it's limitless what you can do. And like I said, I might not be good at math, but I'll help you with common sense stuff. I can do that. I can tell you how to read tape measures. That's about it. But that's pretty much all I had to say. I thank y'all.
Amen. Now, before we, like I said, we're going to take just a minute. If anybody wants to say anything to the graduates, I'm going to throw my 2 cents in. I was thinking about these two and trying to think of one word that would sum each of them up. Sum Lee up and sum Scotty up. And what was amazing to me is I came up with the same word for both of them. Even though they're different in a lot of ways and come through a lot of different ways, the word I came up with was overcomer. Amen. And I think about Lee, from the beginning, had to be an overcomer. Amen. Born several weeks early, less than 1.5 pounds at birth. Amen. Some of the doctors even saying the baby won't make it. Amen. Some of you that were here, we prayed, had many times of prayer. And the Lord spoke to my dad and said, no, don't give up. Keep praying. Keep holding on. Amen. Used a nurse at UAMS to come tell him, no, it's all right. It's going to be okay. See how he's a fighter? See how he cries? See how he struggles? Give him a chance. Amen. He just needed a chance. Amen. Amen. Of course, everyone knows he lost his mother. He's gone through a lot of things that other people haven't gone through as a 17-year-old. Amen. Faced a lot of those adversities. And I'm going to tell you something. I know a lot of adults today that blame their childhood or what happened to them or things they didn't have a normal mother and father situation or the way they were raised, and they blame their shortcomings on their raising and what happened to them as a child. Amen. Now, I'm so thankful that my mom and dad were there. Amen. They were there to fill the void. Amen. But I'm going to tell you something. Lee has never blamed anything or never looked back and said, if I could have, I would have. Amen. The young man's been an overcomer, a good Christian young man. Amen. And definitely an overcomer. Amen. I look at my son and you say, well, that's kind of, it's been an opposite raising for him, raised in the traditional family setting and everything else. But let me tell you how Scotty has been an overcomer. Through everything else in life and through all of the temptations and all of the things that have been presented to him, my son has never gotten in trouble. He's done what's right. And I can honestly tell you, he's been a very easy child to raise because he's always just done everything. He had a heart that loved God and loved his family. Amen. And loved his parents. Amen. Hasn't gotten into any trouble, even though you look at his height, and both of his sisters played basketball, and the high school coach at Harmony's also their junior high coach. And he tried for years to try to get Scotty to play basketball, but he wasn't interested in it. Amen. But that's all right. He's stuck to academics. He's worked hard. He knows that, you know, he's had to do things to set himself up and to go forward in life. And one of the things I hate that in the little drive-through, he didn't get to have it announced in front of a lot of people. But he graduated cum laude, graduated with honors, with a nice GPA. Amen. And he has accepted a full ride scholarship to Henderson State University with everything paid for. All room and board and everything taken care of. So I'm thankful. Amen. Both these two young men are overcomers. Amen. Anyone, before we'll take just a few minutes, would anyone like to say anything? Amen. Anybody at all?
Okay, I'll try to get through this without breaking out. So, growing up, the third youngest was always mainly Scotty. Scotty obviously got the brains, that's obviously. No offense, Lee, I love you. But, got the brains, you know, and then me and Lee are sitting down here, and then we realize Scotty gets taller, and taller, and taller. And Scotty's in between me and Lee, so, you know, whatever. So he's always been the tallest, and I'm like, okay, why didn't I get the Mac one? That's what I wanted, but I'll deal with what I have. But Scotty's always been, like, someone very humble to talk to. And I love you, and I'm very proud of you. Well, Johnson, not proud. I love you, and I'm proud of you. Mr. Man over here, I love you, and I'm very proud of you. We have gone through thick, we've gone through thick, and you have never left. Neither of the side, me and Nicole Rivera. And I'm proud of you, and I know I give you the hardest time out of the siblings. But I love you, and I'm very proud of you, and I cannot wait to see what God does for you in the future. And I love you all.
Your sister Nigger?
Yes.
Go ahead, Sister
I
Nigger.
want to tell that little fella right back yonder, I've been here since you were born. I watched what you went through, and you really are an overcomer. And God has got something great in that. You really have been God's been speaking to me about you for years. I don't know what you're gonna be, but I know you like to tinker with stuff, and you're mechanically inclined. God knows we need them right now.
He's very
You know,
mechanical.
you're very good at tinkering and tearing stuff apart and putting it back together. So I don't know what kind of mechanics you're going into, but whatever you're going to do, you're going to be good at it. You're going to be number one, and God is going to lift you up and show you to other people what you can do and what you have come through. Scotty, I'm thankful for you because God gave you a brain that I can't even comprehend what you have done in school. And, you know, you're not the one that wants to go tinker like Lee does, but you tinker in your brain. And you've got that brain at a level right now where you can be anything you want to be. So you go with God, let Him lead you, and He'll take you where you want to go.
Anybody else? Man, God is good. Thank you, Jesus.
I want to say I'm really proud of our boys. I'm the aunt, the mom, academics aside. I wasn't very smart, so I don't expect everybody else to be. I adore our boys, and it doesn't even have to be said. They know where they stand with Hey and Mark. Lee and Scotty are the greatest kids in our family. They are so good. They are so good with all of us as far as, I mean, they are so except for you. The girls have had their moment. That is reality. But Lee is always there. You know, if you need him to, both the boys, I mean, bless their hearts, they're like little packages. They're always toting, carrying, reaching, pulling, you know, whatever we can't do on our own. And trust me, the men are nice in our family. The women are needy. You know, these older sisters are extremely needy. And so the boys always well, not so willingly, always help out doing what they're supposed to do. And they really do. You'd be surprised. We get very little lip from either one of them. But they've always been so good, and they jump in there. You know, you may have to give them that mom, nana look or that dad, papa look, but, you know, they get it, they understand, and they jump in and do their part. And they are so loving in our family. You know, y'all see them here at church where they're the church boys. You know, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. We get them at home where it's not always yes, sir, you know, we get that behind the scenes boy. And so, but even there, they are so good as they, Lee, I know, is a tremendous help in this household. I have no doubt in my mind. And my son, we would not be able to function without him so well. But these boys hold a very special place in our family. They are so good and so kind. And y'all may see the little moments every now and then. We're not as social, not as outgoing, but let me tell you, those hearts are huge. They are huge. They may be quiet and recorded, but their hearts are huge. And I thank God every day that no matter where they go from this point up to this point, they have been blessed. And God has touched them. And it's that time growing up that gets them through the rest of their lives. I know that for a fact. Raised in church makes a world of difference. You boys are blessed. I know God is going to bless you from here on out, and I thank you for both of you.
Amen. Anyone else this afternoon? Brother Lewis.
These two young guys, I remember them told
Yeah.
from the time they were born. And Lee's always come down here on Wednesday to help me. I appreciate that. I'll never forget when we got to school over here. Lee was in class. He always had this. I got a suggestion. I remember that. He always had a suggestion. I don't know if he still got a suggestion or not, but he did. And God, I mean, So Scotty, I appreciate Scotty, you know. He's kind of been on the quiet side, behind the scenes. He's always willing to read the scripture for you when you preach.
Yes, he is.
He kept out in the South room, and I'll never forget, you know, like Kathleen says, he just kept getting taller. And I had to look up. And I appreciate both this guy today and a great accomplishment. God bless you all.
Amen. Anyone else this afternoon? Jesus, I praise you. Thank you, Jesus. Go.
I am so thankful for these guys. They are my crew. Like when Scotty talks about his pastor Victor, Scotty, I thought I was a perfect song leader and I could do the singing and the words to songs perfectly. I appreciate you never pointing out my faults like Brother Brian does. Scotty and Lee, y'all are the Lord needed for our family after DJ Paul and their 4 girls. 4 girls are loud, rowdy, and rambunctious and go-getters, and then he gave you y'all. Gave us all. And Scotty, I need to say, Scotty, I need you to do this. You might say, no. But it's done. And I know for a fact that it's done. And I don't have to have song speech 30 minutes before church service. 5 minutes done. But they are so willing to do anything. And I know everyone said they're willing to do everything, but they are. Lee has picked up that drum set about 10,000 times in these 10 weeks. And thanks to Brother Anthony for allowing us to use this drum set. But he never complained once. Scotty has been up here taking the offering, doing this. And, you know, if you're our family and you're behind the scenes of planning these events, it's, oh, well, who's going to do the offering? Oh, Scotty's going to do the offering. Lee's going to do the drums. Oh, well, who's going to do this? Scotty's going to do this, and Lee's going to do that. And they're a huge part of our family. They're just a part. And I appreciate you boys so much, and I cannot wait to see what the Lord does in your lives. I pray that y'all get to venture out and use your wings and fly, but I pray that you always stay close to home because I need you. I couldn't do it without you, Scotty. And Lee, I sure couldn't do it without you. And I love you both.
Man.
Amen. Anyone else before we close out?
I'll say something.
Sister Reeves, yes.
So most of it Anthony's already said. Some of you will probably end up telling them outside of this, same thing. But if you do choose to go to college, you are going to be tempted by so many different things that are ungodly, more than you can even imagine. But the one thing that you need to remember throughout the journey that you're fixing to have to go through is walk with it with God. No matter what, pray with God. Before you do anything, pray on it first.
Yes.
And let God lead you down a path that He has actually already engraved for you. And I just love you both very dearly. And if you do go off to college and leave us for a little bit, you will be missed. But you are always welcome to come back home, and we are always a phone call or text away. I love you both.
Amen. Anyone else? Amen. Brother Brian.
I'll say something. I've known you guys for, I would say, a short period of time. I know Scotty from a long time ago when I used to go here. But I remember you guys have shown me a lot since I've been part of this church again. You guys are always willing to help, willing to instruct, willing to do whatever needs to get done. Y'all have been a great, I feel like I've been part of your team. I really appreciate y'all letting me come in. You guys have a lot of paths in front of you. One thing I want to build on that Brother Roger said, we may look back on our lives, we may have regrets, but here's the thing you need to realize. You've gotten to where you're at now because of those paths that you took. It doesn't matter how bad, how good they were. You are here now, and that's all that really matters. Okay? The future, no one knows what it entails, but that God does. The future is what you make it. It's whatever you guys decide to do. Okay, so whatever you guys decide to do, it'll be the best you can do. I believe in both of you.
Amen. All right. If there's no one else, Brother Randy. Oh, I'm sorry, Sister Faith. No, go ahead, Sister Faith.
I wasn't going to because I'm terrible at talking, but I couldn't help it. I was so very blessed to be able to teach Scotty and Lee in Sunday school. And one thing I always found very inspiring about Scotty is not only is he intelligent, but he has that hunger and enthusiasm to learn, and that's going to take you so far. And with Lee, it's his desire to help and to work. And both of them are very kind and compassionate, and it was truly a blessing being able to teach them, and I learned so much from them. And it's amazing their transformation. I remember them when they were that little, and when Scotty would call me Sister Faith, and I missed it. But their transformation has been so amazing, and they're going to go so very far, and I'm done.
All right, anyone else?
Yeah.
Amen. All right, Brother Randy, would you stand and pray and dismiss us and bless the food, Brother Randy?
Father, we're thankful for this fellowship of believers. Father, we're thankful for these young men that are accomplished so much for God. We just pray for their future, that your hand will be upon this, God. You provide us in the step of good and order, Father, Lord. God, we just ask you to order their steps. Lead us not into temptation, deliver us from evil. Tempted